good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Hishain Ali and let's have a look at the headlines first. Health Ministry increases daily PCR test count. Central Bank imposes 12% maximum interest rates on pawning advances of licensed banks. News in detail. Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jasinga states that more than 1,500 PCR tests were conducted yesterday and that it is the highest number of PCR tests conducted within a day. Meanwhile, 8 patients have recovered from the COVID-19 and were discharged today, increasing the total recoveries to 134. Addressing the daily COVID-19 press briefing at the National Centre for Prevention of COVID-19 in Rajagiriya, Dr. Jasinga added that 8 new COVID-19 positive cases were identified as of 5 p.m. today. 5 out of them are naval personnel, while the rest of the 3 are from the quarantine centre in Punani. Total number of coronavirus cases identified in the country has now escalated to 596. More than 200 Navy officers have tested positive for the coronavirus, Dr. Jasinga added. The Epidemiology Unit of the Health Ministry says 455 active cases of coronavirus are currently under medical care at selected hospitals. Sri Lanka has thus far confirmed 7 deaths due to the disease. Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva told the media that all 164 students brought back from Bangalore were sent for quarantine centres today. He also added that 77 individuals who completed the quarantine period left for their homes and 4,526 individuals have been quarantined by the quarantine centres conducted by the Triforce's personnel. The Army Commander also said that all the first and second associates of the Navy personnel have also been directed to the mandatory quarantine. The Department of Labour has taken steps to undertake a survey on private sector establishments affected due to COVID-19. Accordingly, the employers are requested to complete a 2-minute online survey on some details such as how they manage the business during the crucial coronavirus that is attacking the whole world. Commissioner General of Labour A.V. Malavira, issuing a statement to the media, says the Department of Labour is conducting a survey on establishments affected due to COVID-19. He says that it will take only 2 minutes to complete the online process for any employer by just logging into the official website of the Department of Labour, www.labourdept.gov.lk. The Labour Department also stresses that it is extremely important to take appropriate decisions in terms of protecting both the business and employment and requested the employers to complete survey forms soon and submit it on before May 3rd. The officials also announced that the employers need to fill individual forms by conglomerates or diversified business entities. At the same time, the department assures that the data or the details provided by the employers will be strictly confidential and won't share for any other purpose. Meanwhile, Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena last week said that Labour Minister Dinesh Gunawardena had already discussed with the Employers Association and assured the salaries for the month of April. Minister Bandula Gunawardena also said that the government has already facilitated the employers with a concessionary loan for the private sector with a nominal interest rate to settle the salaries of their employees.
පරණ වැටුප් බිල පෙන්නලා ඒ සේවකයන්ට ගෙවන්න ඕනේ කාරක ප්‍රාග්ධනය 104 පොලියට ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් මේ වාණිජ බැංකුව වලින් බැංකුව ආයතනෙ.
Considering the novel coronavirus crisis in the country, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has imposed maximum interest rates on pawning advances of licensed banks. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka observes that the current interest rates charged by a licensed bank on pawning advances range from 12% to 17.5% per annum. The central bank states that considering the necessity to provide relief to low-income individuals who are pawning gold jewelry to meet their short-term financing needs due to the adverse economic situation resulting from the COVID-19 outbreak, it decided to impose a maximum interest rate on pawning advances of licensed banks. Hence, the licensed banks are required to fix the maximum rate of interest on the money lent on the security of personal articles made of gold accepted as a pledge for pawning to be 12% per annum or 1% per month if the pawning period is less than 1 year with effect from yesterday. This maximum interest rate will be applicable for all new pawning advances and existing pawning facilities that become due for renewal commencing the date of the order. Further, CBSL noted that it is expected that other institutions involved in pawning activities would also offer a lower interest rate to enable their customers to obtain urgent finances at affordable costs so that they could later on redeem their pawned gold jewelry. Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break. Welcome back after the break. With the eruption of the coronavirus pandemic, people are in constant dilemmas as to whether there will be a global food shortage. In this backdrop, expressing his views in an online discussion conducted by the World Bank, its Vice President for Sustainable Development, Jurgen Vogel, stresses that there is no sign of an impending global food shortage since there is sufficient stocks of food worldwide, and in this regard, he urged the countries not to impose global export bans and trade bans.
Fortunately, unlike the situation in 2008, when really the world food stocks were low and production was at risk, today we had record harvests over the last 2 years, and we actually have higher food stocks around the world than we've had in a very, very long time. Of course, people are, buying more food because they're eating more food at home than they normally do, and they want to have a little bit of reserve in their shelves. But supermarkets generally can deal with this. So what we absolutely don't want to see is global export bans, trade barriers being imposed by individual countries, because if that begins to happen, then we may have a major problem coming our way.
Speaking further, World Bank's Vice President for Sustainable Development, Jurgen Vogel, explained how countries and organizations can assist the vulnerable sectors of the society to have access to food.
The key is to get cash into people's hands and to help them maintain access to the markets and to the supply, right, on both sides. So we as an institution are looking at it from actually 4 different angles. One is the immediate disease response. The other one is a macro fiscal and financial sector stability program, which impacts that food supply chain as well to the banks. If banks are not liquid, if banks cannot continue to perform, that will disrupt the supply chain severely. Then we need to look at small and medium enterprises. How do we support the millions of small enterprises? And when you think about it, every farm is a small enterprise. Sometimes a micro enterprise, but even a smallholder farm is a business.
World Health Organization warns that even though many countries are gradually easing the lockdown measures, the COVID-19 pandemic is far from over since there is increasing trends in some Asian countries, Africa, Eastern Europe and Latin America. WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, addressing the yesterday's press briefing on coronavirus, added that the COVID-19 cases and deaths are underreported in the countries which have low testing capacity.
As lockdowns in Europe ease with declining numbers of new cases, we continue to urge countries to find, isolate, test and treat all cases and trace every contact to ensure these declining trends continue. But the pandemic is far from over. I repeat, the pandemic is far from over. WHO continues to be concerned about the increasing trends in Africa, Eastern Europe, Latin America, and some Asian countries. As in all regions, cases and deaths are underreported in many countries in these regions because of low testing capacity. We're continuing to support these countries with technical assistance through our regional and country offices and with supplies through solidarity flights.
Reflecting on the World Immunization Week, which falls on this week, WHO Director General Dr. Ghebreyesus added that it's vital that everyone gets their seasonal flu vaccine, even though the various vaccination campaigns in countries have been put on hold due to coronavirus situation. Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus reiterated that when vaccination coverage goes down, more outbreaks will occur, including of life-threatening diseases like measles and polio.
This week is World Immunization Week. Immunization is one of the greatest success stories in the history of global health. More than 20 diseases can be prevented with vaccines. Every year, more than 116 million infants are vaccinated, or 86% of all children born globally. But there are still more than 13 million children around the world who miss out on vaccination. We know that the number will increase because of COVID-19. Already, polio vaccination campaigns have been put on hold, and in some countries, routine immunization services are being scaled back or shut down. With the start of the Southern Hemisphere flu season, it's vital that everyone gets their seasonal flu vaccine. Even when services are operating, some parents and caregivers are avoiding taking their children to be vaccinated because of concerns about COVID-19. And myth and information about vaccines are adding fuel to the fire, putting vulnerable people at risk. When vaccination coverage goes down, more outbreaks will occur, including of life-threatening diseases like measles and polio.
And that's all news for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business. Until then, take care. Good night.